welcome in to a special edition of Target Score today. Target Score this morning, early morning for those in Winnipeg. And if you're in Vancouver, props to you for joining this show because it is 6 a.m.? I'm sure Chris Wiggins is on here right now. He was just chomping at the bit to get to this show. I'm Joey Slattery. We got Matt Bonomi. We've got D. Balsera after a crazy development on game one of the CEBL finals. Game one that lasted all of 1 minute and 46 seconds. It was crazy. So, D, we'll get to you in a second because you were at a concert and you were having a little FOMO about this. And I don't think you did at the end. I hope the concert lasted longer than the game did. Because it felt like we were just getting settled. Like Matt and I were like, okay, we're gonna, because the media table was quite far back from like the actual games. We're like, okay, let's scout some seats. Like I want to go see this. It's hard to watch. Like that screen sucks at CAA. So we're like plotting our seats, and then all of a sudden there's a technical difficulty. So we go to the concourse, and then people start pouring out and out the door. And then we go against traffic trying to go up the aisle to see what's happening. And then we see the thanks fans for the wonderful season or whatever. And then the announcement saying game is canceled. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like we've seen this before. Like we've seen it in Montreal, right? Last year. But Montreal, it's not the same thing. A, it's a regular season game. B, it's an outdoor game where you're expected to have some weather issues, which they did. They had rain. But a finals game inside to be canceled that early into the game, particularly, I think it's a blessing it was that early into the game. Like, if this would have happened in the second, third quarter, like it would have been a bigger disaster. But my goodness, I'm still kind of flabbergasted. I had a radio hit this morning on CJOB in Winnipeg, and they were asking me about it, like kind of going over it. And I'm like, it is what it is. I feel like it's not the team's fault. They're going to take a lot of crap on this, but it's not the fault of the league. This is a stupid decision by the CAA Center. But man, this is another tough situation for the league. And again, we had no one to talk about it yesterday. Like we talked to coaches, we talked to owners, but we didn't talk to anybody from the league who just put out a statement. And as we said yesterday, props to the league for, putting a timely statement out, but they really had no choice because even this morning I'm watching Sportsnet and Faisal Khamis is talking about the game one being canceled. That's how
we finally made to Sportsnet, guys.
Yeah.
For all the wrong
Silver lining. But D, you weren't there. So like this is a good time to kind of catch what was like being on the other side of things. You were, out and about having a little FOMO. How did you find out? What was the reaction?
Yeah, I mean, just to tee things off, like I legitimately considered selling my tickets. I was looking into it, seeing if I could get my money back. No, whatever, Matt, shake your head all you want. You could actually talk to my wife about this. She's the one that's like, no, I've been looking for this concert and I want to go to this concert. So, out of respect for those that are married, I mean, you don't try to cross that line. And so I certainly had a lot of
Joey's
FOMO.
Out here alone in Brampton.
Yeah, respect to her. And so I'll never forget, like we were sitting down and it was raining. So it even made it worse, right? I was just like, are you serious? I'm going to like sit through this concert. It's going to rain outside and, Brampton's going to pull off this epic victory and I'm going to miss it, after covering them all season, like just all the FOMO in the world. And I know Matt had like it in his drafts to text me right after and be like, dude, you missed the game of the year. You should have been here. You're not a fan, whatever. Like I knew it was all coming. And I'll never forget just sitting there and we were getting food and drinks and we're sitting and I'm like, okay, the game just had tipped off. I looked and I'm like 6-6. I'm like 6. Sean's perfect from the field. Like we're off to a good start. And then I put my phone away, thinking like I'll hop on the live stream at some point once we get to our seats. And then I went to the bathroom by myself and I pulled up the box score.
Oh, wait, your wife didn't take you? Were you okay?
Pause. Wait, D goes, I went to the bathroom myself. I pulled out my box score.
Yeah, I thought I finished that sentence. No, but I went to the washroom by myself because she was with friends. And so I went to the washroom. And while I was waiting in line, I pulled out my phone. Okay. And I looked at the box score and it was still the same score. And I'm like, oh, of course, this has happened with the league. The website's not working, whatever. And so then I'm refreshing, and I'm like, oh, maybe the signal's just bad out here. Maybe I'll just hop on the live stream. and the comment section just absolutely went off, and I had to scroll up and up and up to get to the beginning of this thread to find out what had happened. And then immediately I just saw the word cancel, and I'm like, no, these guys must be jumping to conclusions. Scroll more, cancel, I can't believe this, blah blah blah. I text Matt right away, and he's like, dude, you're not gonna believe this. And then it was just an exchange with him, an exchange with S. I'm trying to get word what's gonna happen. And even when the concert started, I looked at Sada and I'm like, how the hell did I'm still like, the music's hitting and I'm just like, how the hell did this happen? How did we get here? Like, it just all felt like a dream. Like, I don't drink, and I thought it was buzzed. Like, I thought there's no way this could possibly be the reality, the conclusion. And I can't imagine what it was like for you guys in the building. Like, even just looking at some of the highlights, the one that was looped over and over again, Xavier Moon sliding on the floor there. Like, I mean, when you saw that at first, was that tea leaves for you to be like, this is not a good sign?
I'll let Bonomi take it from here. He hasn't talked yet, and that's really strange for Matt Bonomi to be 6 minutes into a podcast and have not said a word. This is early for Matthew.
I'm still in stunned mode. I was up at 6:45 biking, for everyone's record. But
I thought you were doing hot yoga. Like, get your story straight, guy.
That's later. That's after this.
Hot yoga was not today. Thursday's is my off day for hot yoga. Shout out to all my moms at White Oaks. But I think that I didn't see any of that because, again, the vantage point that Joey and I had in the media section was not the best. And again, we don't really have a ton of media in Brampton, D, as you would know. Like, that section, like, so where they put the media, D, was where the inflatables are in the end zone. For those that
they put on the other side.
Yeah, for those that haven't been in the CAA Center, they're normally fun, interactive, blow up games, and kind of there's a big honey badger that's in the end zone. But this time, or for this series, they remove those and they put media tables over there, and so you're basically watching the game from about 40 feet behind the net. And the vantage point is not good. So I didn't really see it, but Joey, I think you maybe, I don't know if it was you or Josh yesterday from the Winnipeg Free Press that mentioned that he saw it, but someone had said that they saw them slip. I mean, you watch the replay back and it's pretty obvious that it was dangerous. Like Sean first slips and then it's like, okay, maybe he slipped. And then Xavier slips and it's like, whoa, like, did he just put his guy on skates? And then it's like, oh my gosh, he literally is actually skating because there's ice and water on the court. Like, he's literally, it was bad. It was bad. Like, that clip enough is that clip is enough for the league to probably say, like, just get this game. Like, immediately that should have been canceled.
And apologies in case, like, you guys talked about this yesterday, but like, during pregame, was there any sort of concern, or did anyone bring it up? Like, had you had any inclination that, like, this could be a problem through the course of this game?
Yeah, it's we didn't know pregame, but like, the weirdest thing that happened to me, first off, I want to thank our sponsor, Holt Dental's Weekday Mondays, and Finn McCool's for making this this whole live coverage happen this week. And for the people that were out at Finn McCool's, sorry, man. We had the teal party viewing party going on at Finn McCool's, and they didn't get a lot of basketball, but at least you had each other. But I want to thank our presenting sponsors. You can see them below here on our screen. So essentially, the weirdest thing for me was I noticed there was like talking between players during warmups, like close to when like the game was going to happen, which is, you see it very rarely in the regular season, let alone the finals. And I remember thinking like what a weird time to be talking, right? And it's not like, and they're not trash talking. Like, you could tell they're just like kind of chatting a little bit, not in like crazy conversations, but more interaction than you would expect at that time. And then as the game starts, like there was a buzz in the building, but like there was something weird. Like, it just felt a little off. And I kind of just put it to, because I never went to a game in Brampton. Like, this is like, or I shouldn't say that. I've been to a game in Brampton before, but a finals game, and it's different from Winnipeg, I guess. So I'm thinking like maybe it's just like the different kind of vibe in here. It was anyway. Then the game goes off, and again, we're barely able to see anything. So I think Josh was the one who saw it because I couldn't see anything. We were like at the hockey boards essentially, where like how far back we were sitting. But then when we talked, like they had their timeout, and I remember thinking like, who called a timeout at 6-6, less than 2 minutes into the game, and it's too early for a TV timeout. And I'm thinking, okay, like something's up here, right? So, and then I thought at first like technical difficulties were like I thought maybe it was the broadcast, because we had heard there were some issues with the audio with the broadcast. So I think I even said to you, Matt, I'm like, it must be a CBC thing or a TSN thing. They're probably just trying to figure it out. But then they say 20 minutes, and I'm like, that's an eternity in TV. Like 20 minutes is not like a quick little glance over. And then I kind of figured out because earlier in the game too, before the game, I said to Matt, I'm like, I think that this is like I said it looked foggy. I'm like, it looks foggy in here, like smoky. And Matt's just like, oh, it's always like that before a game.
I was gonna
in
say
Brampton.
that's definitely a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's what he just chalked it up to that, right? And then there was kind of a perfect storm. It was raining that day, like heavy rain. It's humid here like crazy, and they just put the ice underneath. And we were told that they shined the cord up for TV, so they're dragging these big mops, and I'm thinking it's just like just to make sure that it's not slippery, or to just dust it off so it looks good before on TV. And they do this in the universities too, where they'll like between games, they just bring the stuff off to make sure that any kind of dust or debris off there for the players. But then I'm thinking, like, after the fact, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before in Montreal, right? It's the mops to take the moisture off. And but I didn't put two and two together until the 20 minutes announcement. And then when people started coming out, then we find out it's the floor for sure, where it's confirmed.
When you say the people's coming out, what do you mean by that? Like people were starting
people
to
were like people were like leaving the building, so they're heading out of the arena.
But they left before there was a message even said to like that this game's canceled.
Well, people were going to the concourse to get food, right? So it was already packed in the concourse.
I gotcha.
But then people start going out the door, and I'm like, there's no re-entry. Like that's where I'm kind of like, it's not computing kind of thing. But then when I talked to Mike Rainbow after the game, I wish I had it lined up, but we had a quick interview after the game, and he said that the players knew at the end of warmups that this was probably going to happen, because they started to notice it was a little slippery. They brought it up. That's why the players were talking. Like, is it like that on your end? Yes, it is. Like, it's a little slippery. What are we going to do? Like, let's try and see if we can play through it. Maybe it'll dry. I don't know what those conversations were like, but they have those conversations. And then, like it's impossible to play on that. And thankfully no one was hurt. Like, you look at that highlight of Xavier Moon slipping, and it's like, thank God that's all it was. It was just a slip. Because like, can you imagine if one of the star players who has another massive contract they're going to overseas and they can't go to it because of that? Like, man, it would be crazy. But
the way Xavier slipped, like we've seen Achilles tears, and it's always when you'd make that long stride. And when I saw his legs go as far as it did, I'm like, that's not good. Like, you are not setting up anyone for success. And I mean, if a guy like Xavier goes down in a game like that you don't even finish, man, that's just what a black eye on the league that would be if that would have happened. So thank God no one got hurt in that short amount of time.
Oh, totally. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I feel bad. And Matt, like, you could touch on this too, because where I feel bad is it's falling on the team. Like, the team is who's eating this right now. And it had nothing to do with the Honey Badgers. Like, we talked to, like, even after our show, they came up to us and continued to talk and give us details. And, one of the things they said is, like, we were adamant that we cannot have the ice put in because the game, Thursday day. So Wednesday was the game. They put the ice in Tuesday, and the team was fighting with the arena. Like, can we just wait 24 hours? Like, our season is done. There's no chance of us coming back to play. Like, it is done officially. And the arena was adamant that they were going to put the ice in. And, the concerns came to a head. And like, the other thing too, D, there was a ton of Winnipeg fans there. I met a fan named Nick. Shout out Nick. He's a fan of the pod. He's from Kingston. And he was there with his girlfriend, came out from Kingston for the game. And he's like, I'm just a CEBL fan, man. Like, I'm just here. Like, finals were nearby. Like, I wasn't going to miss this. Shout out also to Simon Hildebrandt's grandmother, Judy, who was at the game and yelled at me because she watches all of our podcasts. So shout out Judy. That a bunch of fans in Brampton last night, which was really cool. But yeah, it was like people were traveling from all over Ontario, from across the country to be here. And they saw 2 minutes of basketball. And for those that stayed in Brampton, like, and this is not a shot on Brampton, but like, they came here for the game. They're not here to like tour Brampton. Like, and that's, as much as there's a tourism aspect to this, like, they came here for the game, and now they're flying out today. And a lot of people probably feel like they wasted, in some cases, thousands of dollars, depending on how many people traveled, right? And as you guys are about to see, because you guys are definitely booking your flights to Winnipeg, how that'll be for a fan that's traveling from Ontario to Winnipeg for a single basketball game where you're hoping to see, the best go at it for a championship.
Joey, I have some trust issues with the league right now, so I don't know if I feel confident in purchasing a ticket.
It's gonna be a leak on. There's gonna be a leak on the plane. Knock on wood for anybody traveling. Safe travels, everybody. I will say, just to touch on that point about the team in specific, like after we ended the pod last night, we had a chance to talk to a couple of people, and even during the pod, I was able to talk to a couple of people from the management side, and they made it clear. And again, I want to reiterate this. I said this last night a couple of times because a lot of the comments were laser focused on blaming the team and Brampton and the management. I mean, it has nothing to do with them. They're a tenant in that arena. As much as you want to say, well, the team should know how to prepare for this and what happens and this and that, it's impossible to predict what's going to happen. I mean, a contingency plan may help, but I think that the question is like what you just said, Joey, and a lot of them wondered, why the heck was the ice put in so early for something that isn't happening for what, like another 5 days or 6 days or whatever? Like you couldn't have
Tuesday.
You couldn't have waited until literally right after the game to do this. Like I again, I'm not an ice guy or an arena manager, but I don't think ice needs 6 days to sit, considering how cold it was in there. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could have ripped that stuff up and played on that ice last night. So that was the big takeaway. Again, it's not as much as people want to blame Brampton. Trust me, like D and I would know, these guys have everything on the line, man. Like this is a monumental year for this team. They were 5-19 last year. They couldn't win a friggin' game for their lives. People were wanting the team to be relocated. And this year they got to the big dance and the final show here, and this happens. I mean, they were doing anything and everything under the sun in order to make that work. The other thing, like I saw a ton of comments about that, and I was just sifting through some of the comments last night. Good entertainment, by the way, because I think public opinion is hilarious. I mean, whether you like it or agree with it or disagree with it or whatever it may be, there are so many good lines. But one of the things that I took away from a lot of the comments, and again, we talked about this a little last night, is, and we had a couple interesting comments too, Joey, from some interesting folks across the league. There needs to be some sort of leadership here, and the C word, commissioner, kept coming up too.
Over and over from fans, from officials.
Yeah, it's where there needs to be some sort of line. Like there needs to be a president or a prime minister that's running the country. There needs to be a leader, right? And right now that's a vacant hole, and that allows people to lose trust pretty quick. And when someone can't answer questions, then it creates more questions, right? Like people are going to say, well, why doesn't Brampton? Why doesn't Al Whitley? Why doesn't Leonard Asper? Why doesn't CAA? Why doesn't Brampton? Why doesn't Mayor Patrick Brown? Like, well, if someone came out and answered some of these questions saying, look, hey, the ice wasn't in, this is what it is, straight from the horse's mouth, don't point fingers, then I'm sure a lot of this could be snuffed. Like the 250 comments, I think it was on that Instagram post, the latest at least, I think could be down to like 20 comments if there was somebody that answered this and came to the forefront right away. And unfortunately, we don't have that right now. And again, like Joey, we saw a couple really interesting people comment on the feed last night that have been involved in the league. And right here, if I can pull up a comment right there. Yeah. Like last night you go to bed, and I'm sure you felt this too, Joey. Like you just feel sick. Like you feel sick for the people in Brampton that paid money to come and watch this. And I know there's going to be refunds and they'll be reimbursed and whatever it may be. But then you also feel sick for the team. Like this was their Super Bowl, right? Like this is what they worked so hard for. Like Alex Serta, first-year head coach. Leonard Asper brought in all this great management. Al Whitley, Jermaine Anderson, who finally gets to that stage in his career. John Ross, Mike Gerling, like all these guys that came together to make this happen. And it's just like you feel sick that it didn't work out. And unfortunately, this league continues to just have a crappy stretch here. And
to drop the ball.
I know that, like I know the saying is 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Like this feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards. And it's just really hard. Like D, you said it perfectly too. A black eye. We said that last night too. Like it's a black eye that you can't avoid. You just have to get punched, get back up. You're getting punched again, get back up, you get punched, and somehow they're still in the fight. So I just feel sick for everybody that was involved in this, because really there was no control over it.
It's so hard because, we have jokingly said that like the league kind of dodged a bullet with Scarborough not moving on and having that, you know, that cloud over the team, that cloud over the team and the league in terms of this team getting through after, you know, the controversial decision of Miles Powell and just giving him a fine as opposed to suspension, all that sort of stuff. And we got to this place where, you know, these two teams, you know, quote unquote, did the right way, overcame adversity and got to the finals. Like, again, Matt, you and I talked about in our last podcast, there were just storylines galore for this team, right? Like, it's got to be a dream for a broadcast to cover this game because there's just so many nuggets that you can pick at. And then it's like, I'm glad John just made that comment because, like, I was looking at the YouTube and everyone was saying, yeah, like, nobody on the broadcast team has communicated to us that, like, this game is over. And this is what happens when you don't have those guys physically in the building. And I just don't understand why the play-by-play guys are just not in the building for a finals game to be able to relay that information. And your only boots on the ground is the sideline reporter. And, like, I don't even know how much information S was able to relay, but, like, I just don't know how you can leave fans watching the broadcast hanging out to dry like that. It just, man, it's one thing after another. And then, like, on top of that, Joey, before you get there, like, the Oren article came out, right? And people were talking about that on the interwebs as well. So it was just one thing after another. Like you said, Matt, like any time that they took one step forward, it wasn't just 2 steps back. It was like 3 steps back.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Cam had things going there. I see Adam, Andrew, and John. Great to have you guys all aboard here. Yeah, and it was a bad look. Like, they did, and the weird thing is they had a panel with Rod Black and Charles Kissy there, but, like, yeah, like, why not even go to them? But then again, they're only on one network, right? That's the kind of problem when you've got 2 networks doing this, when it's not a cohesive, you know, they're kind of doing this generic thing. I just put out the statement here. I'm going to take it down, but you can see it on Instagram or on the website, just basically saying that Saturday is the winner take all game. But no, it's like in the past, I go back to that Montreal game. Like, you know, when Mike Morreale was the commissioner, he went and faced it immediately. And he told you, hey, this game is canceled. We apologize. You know, I still think this was a great event and whatever. And then I remember last year with the video replay, right? He came on our podcast. He reached out to us to say, hey, can we come on before we had the Brampton and Vancouver show, it was only in Winnipeg. And he's like, I'd like to come on, you know, for championship weekend, ahead of championship weekend, to clarify what happened and what worked and, you know, what didn't, or just to kind of quell any, you know, all the hearsay of people and the opinions and misinformation, whatever. Anyway, he would come out and talk about it. He went and he would go to other media as well and say, you know, I just need to get the message out there, whether you like it or not. I would like to see, you know, I'm just going to put the record straight. This is like the video replay, and that one, it worked, whether you like it or not. This is what it was designed to do, right? And at the end of the day, it worked. Like, in terms of just having the transparency, whether you liked it or not, it was fine. But yesterday, you put a statement out, great. But media that were there had asked the league, can we just get someone's face on here to talk about it? And no one was they literally said, the statement stands. I'm like, this is not that kind of issue, right? Like, there are times where, hey, like, we got to figure things out, but, like, everything was already decided. Just come out and say that and be like, yeah, we apologize to the fans, right? This is what we can say. There's a public relations side of this that's just been ignored, where it's almost like, and it's just built, it's compounded, where it's like, oh, we'll sweep it under the rug. No one noticed, right? Well, we're not that big of a league yet. No one's going to talk about it. But now it's like a bigger thing and a bigger thing and a bigger thing. And the teams are making statements on things when the league should be making statements about things. It's just, you need to have a contingency plan for communications, including in a crisis, that we did not see at all in that whole thing. So it's, I don't know. I just felt that it was kind of a, I don't know. It was botched for sure. Like, it was botched, but not totally, in the sense that at least they had a statement that was made. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It's you know, Cam says this is growing pains for sure. You know, 3 steps back, got rid of the commissioner. He left. Like, listen, we talked to people that said, like, this is top priority in the off season, right? They need someone to talk about the basketball side of things. And, you know, I want to bring this up too, because Andrew says, I feel like they're going to relocate this team. Is there any local ties from ownership in Brampton? And no, I don't think there is. Like,
Zero.
Leonard Asper's from Winnipeg. Mark Cuban lives in the States. All of their staff are from there. Like, and listen, there are staffers from Brampton that, would like the team to stay. But like, of course they don't want to play there again. This is like they've not been treated well with the arena. I'm not saying they are relocating, but this is definitely going to be front of mind. It's been a tough slog for the Brampton Honey Badgers since moving to Brampton. They put everything into it. No one can blame them if they did, but now this conversation becomes a lot more real and a lot more urgent than it did before yesterday's game one. Matt Bonomi, take it away, my friend.
That was one of the things. Like, if you were in the building yesterday, the broadcast ended, people left. Those that were still in the building, the murmurs and the voices that you heard were, is this the last game that this team will ever play in this arena? And not because the team is folding, well, I mean, I shouldn't say going anywhere, but not because the team is done. More or less, though, is this something that damaged the relationship with the CAA Center and the city of Brampton and the CEBL? Again, like we said, this is not something you can sweep under the rug. If it's a regular season game, you live with it. You move on, you play again in a couple of days, and you find another date to play the game. The problem is, in this case, like, this is that's the league calling me right now. I don't know if you can hear the phone ringing in the background. They're about to, oh my God, the CAA Center is about to jump me in the back here. But the thing is, you can't just kind of make this up and do damage control in a way that it's going to make everybody happy, right? Like, and the problem is, this is national scale. Like, this is not like just the folks in Brampton and another team saw this, and those that didn't travel to the game can't watch the stream today. Like, like, we're talking about people that fans, but people also in management and those that kind of had the thought on their mind of, again, not that they've been told this, or again, this is pure speculation, but it just seems like the relationship has dwindled in a lot of ways. And I know, like, D, you and I have been there enough to understand that the location of the arena is not the best. It's in the boonies, man. Like, we have the most passerby traffic in the Canadian Elite Basketball League because we have Pearson Airport and about 10 flights every 2 minutes going over the arena. That's why we have the busiest area, because we have the busiest airway. But there's no foot traffic. It's very hard to get fans. And that's where I would commend and tip my cap to Al Whitley and Leonard Asper for doing such a good job at increasing attendance this year. And I know it's always the brunt of the joke with attendance and people coming to games and this and that. And we saw a ton of those comments yesterday. But, man, they worked their backside off to make all this happen this year, and they did a great job with it. And I just think, like, these guys are business guys. Like, they want to make money. They want to have success. They want people, most importantly, to see the product. And head coach Serta said to us last night after the game, like, this is the strongest this talent has been in this league. The strongest the product on the court has been in its 8-year existence. We need people to see this. And to be in a spot where, again, back to what I'm thinking, to be in a spot where you can't have that exposure is tough. And this is another one where it's like, yeah, this is the main reason why we may want to leave, because of exposure. Again, pure speculation. But then to have something like this, it almost reinforces that idea that, hey, maybe we should get out of here because there's more to this under the hood than just the fact that we can't get fans out here, right? And it just really sucks, man. Again, I feel terrible for those guys that put so much into this, and now it's kind of like your only option really feels like what are we going to come back again, and then something happens next year? It's like, and the tough thing too that D and you and I have talked about a ton. It just feels Mickey Mouse if you move a team twice in what, 5 years? I mean, they moved in 2023. Like, they move again next year. It's like, then people start to make the brunt of the joke. Then turns into, well, this is a suitcase team, right? So
I'll say this though, I agree with you. If this were just generally speaking, right? If they just decided this year after a normal season, like, hey, we're up and out. And I know that they had a plan for 3 to 5 years of really trying to build this up in Brampton, like really giving it a shot. And if they weren't getting the reciprocated love or support from the community, like they would have to. And that happens in sports. But everybody saw this, including people that have never even heard of the CEBL, right? That are general sports fans that, and we know how it works in media. There are TSN guys, there are Sportsnet guys, and the Sportsnet guys that don't watch TSN and haven't watched TSN probably have very little idea. They might see it on the top 10 or the top whatever plays where one of our plays hit the top 10. And you know what? Like, honestly, to a degree, I know they don't cover the highlights, but like Sportsnet's been pretty good at putting out our highlights in those top 10s and some of our best moments out there. But I will say, that everybody saw this, and if they relocate based on the information coming out, and look, man, like we've got people that are up early watching us right now in Winnipeg, here in Ontario as well, and wherever you're from, hey, put it out there. I saw some people saying hi from wherever. But you've got people that have seen this and would not blame anybody if they left Brampton. And the reputation in Brampton is they haven't had people there in 4 years, right? Since they moved there. Like Winnipeg fans know, we've seen the crowds. Like Winnipeg fans are not just Sea Bears fans, they are CEBL fans. They watch a lot of the games, if not all of the games, right? So they're very aware. So I think where you like the core fan base is not going to look at this and be like, Mickey Mouse League, like or Mickey Mouse team, sorry, like this is stupid. No, I think like, hey, the other thing too is they were forced out of Hamilton. This wasn't them saying, hey, we're done with Hamilton. It was an arena renovation that led them to Brampton.
So I was going to say this franchise is cursed when it comes to arenas because they had to leave Hamilton because the First Ontario Center needed a facelift and is now the TD Coliseum, and they had issues with parking, and that was a bit of an eyesore for the city as well in terms of things that are extracurriculars that are happening around the building. I remember going to those games and cover those games. Like it was kind of like a pain in the ass. And so that team came fresh off a championship. Hamilton, the city itself was really excited about this team. And then it got ripped away from them. And a lot of people didn't know if the Brampton thing was temporary, if it was permanent.
Yeah.
And then you have all this happen again. And like you said, now they might move again.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. You're talking about arena. I know where there's a brand new spanking arena that would, probably trump Winnipeg's arena in Quebec City, where we've tested the market, had great return on an all-star game where no one knew the names in Quebec. It wasn't even at the time the best players of the league because it was after everybody had went overseas. It was kind of like the best of the rest, so to speak. And it was an unbelievable atmosphere from everybody I've heard. And I remember people talking about like officials saying like, man, you've not seen anything until you've seen the Videotron Center in Quebec City. Listen, man, the team wants to expand. And they said they want to go even, right? East and west. Maybe we pump the brakes on the expansion right now and make sure, hey, we got to realize we can't keep rushing things. Like it's okay to announce a team 2 years in advance. Like the Cleveland Sirens are doing it in the WNBA, right? They're not like announcing it and going right on. I think they start in 2028. Take the time, build the brand, get the excitement going before it actually starts. Have some camps, have some community things. But I would say, look at the options that are already there that you wanted to get to that are ready. Another area that this league has not been in a very long time is the Maritimes. There are eastern cities that are available, close and far, that are prepared to take this on, that have the arenas, that have the facilities. Now, if you're going to look at it, let's look at the areas that have either been tested or we have a pretty good idea that like either the fan base can travel if there's enough of a fan base in Brampton that they want to go to a London or a Kitchener or Hamilton, or is it, hey, we're going to go somewhere where they're basketball hungry, where we can get a whole region, right? Kind of like Winnipeg, like they got all of Manitoba. Saskatoon has all of Saskatchewan, so people can travel to these games from wherever. So I think there's options out there if it does come down to that. And then maybe you think, okay, so we've got that market set up, and then we could expand to the other markets we wanted to while putting a team in Kelowna, because there's another market that really wants to get into this league and had a great testing a few weeks ago when they had that game in Kelowna where the Bandits played out there. But I think, you have to keep the league balanced in terms of conferences. I don't want to see a CFL thing where you have uneven teams and you have, too many teams in one area and not enough in the other, and you got to do crossovers and it gets all complicated. There are plenty of places in the East if this is the decision. And I think there's places that we have the proof that it would have a good footing to start.
I was gonna say it's ironic because the Growlers didn't work out because of their venue.
Yeah.
So that would be funny.
To be fair, Donovan Bennett came on, was watching our stream yesterday and commented because I had said something like maybe the league has to do something contractual with the playoffs and maybe you have to move the playoffs around. Maybe this is still too late, right? Maybe we have to have the playoffs in the first week of August or something, like, maybe the August
maybe we should have a championship weekend. What a great idea. No, I'm kidding.
We talked about all of this yesterday, but like with Donovan said, he's like, we're a hockey country, right? And he was saying like, it's going to be hard. Like, this is why he says arenas don't want basketball, because they don't want to have to worry about taking ice in and out. Like, they want the ice in there, right? So I'm like, fair, but like, there's got to be a way to work around it. Now, the one nice thing about championship weekend, I've been on this from the start, I don't think championship weekend was bad. I would make some tweaks. I think a championship weekend should be like the Grey Cup. I don't think it needs to be a Final Four. I think you should have your conference finals. Like Brampton should have hosted the Eastern Conference Final last week and have a celebration, have a trophy, get some Eastern Conference Finals hats and T-shirts like they do in the NBA and the NHL and all the other pro leagues. And then you have your neutral site championship game that you can market over a year. So if you're going to spend the money, you have time to plan it. Like that's the other thing. Even though it seems like there was a bit of a window, like it was a quick turnaround when these teams won and you knew game one was in Brampton. You're rushing to book your plane tickets and book your hotels for game one to get here for one game. Then you got to get back to where you're going and trying to figure out how do I get to the next venue if I want to go to games 2 and 3, right? So I think the championship weekend still kind of works. And maybe this is something that now they revisit where it's like, okay, at least we can market and we know that there's not going to be ice, right? Whether it's in Winnipeg or Brampton or Saskatoon, wherever, but like the arena knows it's all contractual. It's like a concert, right? What the concert needs, they have everything ready for it when they're coming in because there's a year's notice or whatever they're going to get, and you market the hell out of it. And then you have that championship there. And maybe you make, you get a sponsor where you can have some discount codes for people that like the true fans, right? Like have an insider thing where it's like, the Target Score insiders will get an additional 20% off tickets or something, or a travel voucher from Expedia. Like, use this code and you can get an Expedia code or whatever for some percentage off your flight. But there's so many opportunities for partnerships and things like that through a championship weekend that I don't think, I shouldn't say it wasn't utilized. I think I appreciate the innovation. I thought the finals was a great idea until I saw it not work. And now I'm kind of going back to maybe we were onto something with championship weekend. Maybe we build a festival around it like we did. Like if you were out there in Winnipeg and the Winnipeggers in the comments, like feel free to comment. But the festival last year, even though the weather wasn't the best, like the Sean Desmond concert was awesome, right? Like they had local bands. They had bigger names. They had a great halftime show. They had a street festival around the arena. Like the whole weekend was just fun. Like if you went downtown, even if you didn't know what was happening, you learned pretty quick. It was all free. And maybe that's a way to grow the league. But like what we're doing right now with no broadcast teams on there, like you talk about Mickey Mouse, that's the biggest Mickey Mouse thing for me. It's just like you have a sideline reporters there. There's no real assignments, like, in terms of it's just like if you're in the area, like you're in. It was hard to plan around. I'll admit, like, I don't know if I didn't know I'd be here. Like, it'd been nice to know, like, I'm going to be at the finals or whatever and not have to like leave my schedule in flux that I might be working, I might not be. I think there's a lot of things that the league was doing right that they abandoned. And hey, I'm okay with it. You tried it. And I understand it was probably like cost saving measures for 1 year to kind of get back on track, but you have to revisit. And if you're not marketing the team, like, listen, and Bonomi, this, the play-by-play is the soundtrack. Like they played a video last night, and it's on social media too. And it's Matt's great calls that they're putting on there that makes the video epic. So even if you weren't watching the game live for the full 2 hours or whatever, that is what the marketing comes to. It's like, here's the great voices of the CEBL that are putting the cherry on top of the unbelievable talent and some of the greatest plays you're going to see. It turns into a social media thing. And now it's like, maybe I will tune into this. It looks good. And maybe I will go to a game because it looks like it's a ton of fun. And I think when you take that away and you put it in a box, and you don't have like the people from the league that are narrating this essentially, I think it's an opportunity missed. So I think those are things where it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a cost, but you know what? There's a huge return in this. And if it's not marketed in a way that I want to go see it, then what's the point? So I think there's a number of things this year that they have to go back to the table and say, like, listen, what are costs worth taking? What are cuts not worth taking? And come back with a better plan in 2027. There was a ton of growth up to this year. And we have more eyes than ever because there's no paywalls anymore. We've been on CBC, we've been on, YouTube. And the other thing is like, why don't we have, if I don't care, have 2 networks, all the other leagues do it. There's no CFL on Tuesdays. Why don't you make a Tuesday night on TSN is CEBL Tuesdays? It's a national game. And instead of this generic catch the CEBL on Tuesdays, have a, Sean East and the Honey Badgers coming in looking to punch their ticket to the playoffs while Winnipeg introduces Xavier Moon, after a long wait as he looks to continue his legacy in the CEBL after a hiatus. TSN, 8:00, Tuesday, boom. And then on CBC, you have your Sunday afternoon game, right? Where it's like, where the tone's a little different. And it's, hey, get the family together at the cottage, watch it outside, whatever. But the tone is like another great game on CBC as the Honey Badgers come in and playing the Winnipeg Sea Bears, catch it 2:30 Eastern time on CBC. Like, have the tone where you can get both sides of the market, and then that drives the fandom. Now I want to watch the local games. Like, yeah, I'm from Brampton. I saw this game, didn't know Brampton had a team. I'm gonna go figure out. Oh, it's on YouTube. All I got to search is Brampton Honey Badgers or Brampton, and it's the first thing that pops up. Like, I think there's a lot of things that can be done with the resources that are in place. It's just got to be. It's got to be put out properly. Like, the action needs to be taken on it, and not just like, let's just rushingly put this out. And like the highlights on CBC that I saw all summer were highlights from last year with a generic voiceover, and all of the players are either not on the team or they're wearing jerseys that don't exist anymore because all of them went through rebrands. Like, it's got to be current and market the stars. Like, I understand, like, it's not LeBron James and it's not Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but like Sean East and Xavier Moon have become household names in Canada to a very devoted basketball market. Pump the Canadians, Simon Hildebrand, the golden boy of Winnipeg, up against, Easton Tim, like the up and comer from Saskatoon. Like pick a player that is going to draw interest, draw ticket sales, draw viewership, and market the heck out of it. But like, there's so many things that this league can do with what's in place. It's just like, here's an off season that now we can put those plans in place. And then we can put it out there and say, like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, this is a plan that makes sense.
I think too, like that was great. That was good. That was good, Joey. I like that. That was a good, what do we call it? Soliloquy?
It's called a rant.
That was good. Yeah, rant. That's Ontario for soliloquy. But the thing that again, for lack of better term, and I guess pun intended, I mean, this should be a layup for the league. Like, D, you and I talked about this the other day. Like, the Eastern Conference Finals, the Eastern Conference Semifinals, like the amount of star power that is in these matchups. Like, you have, like, again, so many little storylines. Like, for example, in Ottawa, like head coach Serta, first year in the league, going against a guy that played for his team, and Alex Fudge. Alex Fudge won an NBA Commissioner's Cup in-season tournament with the Lakers, was on the roster with the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Final. Like, you don't hear about any of that. And again, I know, like, maybe Alex Fudge is the star of that team, but there's so many little things that you could chip into that, like, again, if I again, I'll use this as an example. If I saw Mapinomi on the street and I said, "Oh, there's Mapinomi," to somebody, they'd be like, "Who the heck is that guy?" If I said, "There's Mapinomi who was in a movie with Ryan Reynolds and this and that," and like then someone's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to check that guy out," right? Like, there's so many little things that you can do to tweak and to not only, it's not like you're making it up. I mean, you're giving these guys their flowers. Like, even Trenton Flowers, for example, NBA,
nice segue there.
Like that was good. Relationship with Chris Paul, Clippers, knows Alex Serta. Like, the league should be all over that stuff, man. Like, or how about like guys with NBA experience that are playing in the final, like little things like that where you can connect it to. And one of the most heartbreaking things, I think, for me that I'd seen this year in Brampton that literally made me so upset. And again, you can call me soft and whatever you want. I don't really care. But people coming before the game for shoot-arounds and groups of kids and this and that. And a couple people saying to us, like, we didn't even know anything about this league. And it's like, man, like, people work day and night to try to make this possible. And again, Brampton is on the map more than they ever have been, thanks to Al Whitley, Leonard Asper and company. And they've done an excellent job. But it's just so like, it just takes a shot at you where I'm like, man, people work so hard to make this possible, and to have people come in and say that. And again, I get there are people around the world that wouldn't even know who LeBron James is. I get it. Like, I asked you who Olivia Dean was yesterday, Joey, and you had no idea. So I get it. I mean, that's not like not everyone's tuned into everything. But when it's in your own backyard, when it's your best pro league in the country, and when you have guys that have played at the highest level, there needs to be some sort of capitalization. I mean, it goes back to the transparency discussion that we had a couple weeks ago too. Like, you can slot that in the same file as this. There needs to be more put into it in order to make it effective. Like, there are guys with real street cred in this league. There are stars in this finals. And I thought the post they did yesterday on the Instagram saying, like, players to watch, that was one of the best posts I'd seen. But how about like a little bio saying, like, players to watch, Sean East, NBA Summer League with the Cavaliers, Yada
Rising
yada.
Stars game at the NBA All-Star just last year.
Right? Like I think that like that's the marketability that you lose out on when you don't, or that's the stuff that you lose out on when you don't take advantage of that marketability. And again, like there is no, in my mind, again, I'm not a money guy, I'm not a business guy, I don't know a ton about it, but I find it hard to believe that if you marketed this from a league perspective, not a team perspective, because the team does everything they can, but from a league perspective, to really put the team out there and spend a couple dollars, like it's the GTA, man. Like there are millions of people in this area. Brampton has a huge population. Brampton has a massive South Asian population that love hoops, right? Like we have had crazy guys at these games. We had NBA guys at the games last night. We had Dwight Powell, we had AJ Lawson, Dylan Brooks was going to be in the building. Rowan Barrett was there. Meeks from Basketball Canada was there. Nav Superfan was there. And that was a solid crowd. And unfortunately, it fell on its face in the biggest moment. But there are people that are interested. That's the thing. It's just about marketing it correctly and putting a spin on it that gets people to these games. And unfortunately, right now, from a league perspective, I mean, it just feels like Brampton's kind of, again, I don't want to say it in a tough way, but it seems like they're like little brother. Like they get little brother kind of treatment from the league.
Which is ironic because Leonard is the little brother of Dave.
Yeah, I mean, Leonard's our guy. But, I mean, it just feels like, again, like they're in the finals. They get equal coverage as everyone else. I understand. But if it was me running the league, again, I'm biased, but I would want this to get the most coverage because you're in the biggest market in Canada for basketball. You're in the GTA.
Yeah.
The best stars from in Canadian basketball come
Brampton
from
alone.
this area.
Yeah. Brampton
Right?
alone has
Like,
how many guys coming out of there?
I mean, man, we have NBA guys there all the time. It's just like I just wish there was more capitalization on it. And again, I'm not pointing fingers, but it's just tough when I think the product is there and it could be a soft toss oop, Sean East to Flowers to the bottom of the bucket. But I feel right now it's like that ball's going way over the backboard into the third row and no one's there to get it because no one's in the stands, right? Like it's just kind of it's aggravating again because D, you and I see the effort that comes from within and the people that work so hard to make this possible. Like we had Al Whitley yesterday putting tables up, throwing tables down, wiping the court down. He's up when in the conference finals. He's on the side of the court getting into it, letting everybody know what's going on. Like, and then it's just like, man, I feel like the left hand doesn't really know what the right hand's doing. And you could pump that back to the commissioner thing. You could pump that back to what's the best approach to this thing. You could blame the location, but I think there are just a lot of moving pieces here. Like this is not the watch is not working because the battery's dead. The watch is not working because the battery's dead. The little arm isn't working. The big arm isn't working, and there are no numbers on the face, right? Like there are a lot of things that go into this that I think are kind of sideways right now.
I want to bring this one up here. Sorry, D, I don't mean to cut you off, but Pauline, thanks for tuning in, Pauline. I think you're a new viewer. I like this comment, not because of what they're saying here, but and I know, Pauline, I saw your comments about the CEBL should fold. That's not going to happen. And here, I know you want to make this American, and that's something they're saying. This new North American Basketball Association should be a summer league. But here's the thing I like about this, because there had been rumblings that there might be an association with the G League, because one of the problems with the players is they leave for Europe because they have earlier seasons. The timing of our league does great timing with the G League, where you could have that loose affiliation where guys that need the work and the NBA teams can send them to Canada, kind of like a loose like farm team, so to speak, where it's like you can get that extra development. But here's the thing. I don't think this league works if you take out the Canadian aspect. And no one's going to watch a summer league with American teams. Like Americans won't even watch that. Like that is not the answer. Like, and I appreciate you trying to be innovative, but if you think that's going to save this league or is going to be a huge success, I think you're wrong on that. You need to have some local ties here. Like no one in LA is going to go watch the CEBL, or in Miami, as you would put out, it's not going to work. This is a regional. The reason why this league worked is because it was ultimately Canadian and it was growing, and we've seen better Canadian talent year over year, including at the youth sports level, because of that partnership where you have the developmental players. But I'm okay with that. Like, hey, if you want to have that affiliation with the NBA and its G League, maybe there is something there where we can have G League spots. So there's guaranteed spots for each team to send a player or something like that to a team in Canada. But you have to keep the Canadian aspect and keep this Canadian, because listen, like in Winnipeg, they've got the Gold Eyes and they do really well. But we see a few Canadians coming in there because it's an American league. They're the only Canadian team in the league, right? And it's a long-standing tradition of over 30 years. But there are complaints that there's not enough Winnipeggers on that team, and they don't mind their own and they don't get enough Canadians involved. And it draws interest when there is, because there's storylines that people can relate to. So I like your comment, Pauline. Thanks for getting in on the chat and joining the show here. And if you're just joining, this is Target Score today. Thanks to our sponsors, Holt Dental, Zwieke, Monday's Cafe, and Finn McCool's, all in Winnipeg, making all this coverage possible. But yeah, this is listen, someone brought it up. This is going to be a great off season. We should have a podcast with the top things that have to happen this off season. But
how much time do you have?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have a whole series on one issue at a time. But listen, the silver lining here is we're talking about it, and people care because of these very things, that are coming up. And John says, very dynamic thinking, but not a good idea. The rules are different. Games are different. The length of time, target score, 100%. This is a FIBA basketball league. And again, maybe you look at that and you say, okay, like maybe we have to adjust some rules. I don't want to lose target score. I'm not saying that or anything like that. But, the other thing too is all of these players that are in the NBA, when they go play for Team USA or Team Canada, they play by FIBA rules. It's different from the NBA. The NBA is actually the unique league from a global standpoint. Longer quarters, different rules, all that stuff. So I think, again, thanks, John, for bringing that up. And I know, and this is, should have a tier 2 league. I actually believe that too. Go to some of the smaller markets, have a second division CEBL. But hey, before we do that, we got to figure out the top CEBL league and get back to the things that were working. And hey, there are some positives this year too. Hey, we just talked about the viewership and the free, that was huge. We have more eyes than ever. We've got more interest than ever. We've got people in comments that are furious and trashing the league. You know why they're doing that? Because they know of it and they want it to work. So even through the anger and the people that are negative, that is warranted. It is not a good situation, but it shows that people care, and this is worth saving and worth improving. I don't want to use the term saving. That might be an overstretch, but improving is definitely maybe an understretch. There's something in between those two words that is more accurate. But this, again, there's so much now to use, but you have to go through the investigative process where you're looking at this and saying, what are fans saying? What are staff saying? What are players saying? What are media saying? Because there are a lot of lines and dots that are connected that will lead to very, very clear answers. But you have to go through the process of scanning through all this, taking the time to really understand what people want, what players need, what staffers need, and what the whole ingredient is going to be. When you're making the soup, what is going to make it taste good? It's not just the broth. It's not just the chopped up carrots. It's not just the noodles. You need all of it to come together to give you an award-winning recipe. And that's what we got to do. We've been testing for 8 years. This was a bigger test on how much we can cut back. And listen, I worked in mainstream media for a long time. Cutbacks, when things aren't working, they cut. The product gets worse, and then we see places close. I don't want to see that with the CEBL.
Yeah. I'll leave this last. Yeah, I gotta run. So I just kind of want to leave this last thought. But first of all, I love the soup reference, and Bonomi, your clock reference was just a 12 out of 10. Chef's kiss. I loved what you did there.
Would have been better if you said 10 afternoon, but that's fine.
Right. But Joe, you brought up earlier about saying this league is still young, and we're still 5-6 years in and whatever, but I don't think that's an excuse, because I think
no, it's not.
This older regime that had started this whole thing, if you had told us at this point last year, if you would have told me there'd be 10 teams and the league had grown exponentially at the clip that it was, and the growth online and the ticket sales and all that sort of stuff, if you put all that together, if you told me we'd be where we were last year, I wouldn't have believed you. And the scary thing, and the part that I'm worried about, is when you talk to guys like Ahmed Hill, Cat Barber, guys have been around for a while, been ambassadors of the game, been faces, are there when it comes to the numbers. They go on and they talk to guys overseas, and guys are coming up to them and asking about the league because they're curious because of the growth and what the league has become. And unfortunately, people, when they think about the league, they think about the recent and what has happened most recently, and this is going to be their impression of the league. And the league has worked so hard to build this reputation as a league, a great summer hangout, a great opportunity to showcase yourself, great opportunity to play in the G League, possibly get your chance at the NBA as well. And now we've done all this work, and it goes, I mean, it goes right back to what Matt said at the beginning. We've taken all these steps forward, and now we've taken all these steps back. And my biggest fear is these guys are going to go and play with these other potential players that want to come to this league, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's the league where the fight broke out where Drake was. That was the league where game 1 had to get canceled. Like, there's all these bad stuff. It's not good impressions that we've left going out of this season. That's what I'm just scared of, all the work that we've built. I don't want to take credit for it, because there's guys like Mike Morreale and his team that have built it up to the point that it has been, and now it's going to be for nothing.
D, I got one question for you before you part. And I got some stuff on Alex Serta after that I want to talk to you about, Joey. How do you feel? And this person I feel terrible for. I need a pronunciation on this. Angelique Denzel, is that her name?
Who never got to perform, but she
never got to perform. But
oh shit, true.
The sound check was bomb. I don't know if anybody else. I saw Danilo Juricic under the net vibing do it. I'm like, man, what is going on? And it was.
She got an applause. Bomb. She got an applause at the sound check. I've never seen that before. It was awesome.
She killed it. D, you said this was a big get though. Is this like this is a legit up and coming artist?
I was being a little sarcastic.
Oh man.
But I'm glad
Matt
she
thought you were
great.
100% honest. He was like, D was like pumping her up, man. Like, oh, she doesn't have many more followers than we do, man. This is incredible. Like, yeah, he's like, he was onto something. Like, he made you sound like some savant in the music industry.
See, this is what, like, go listen to her new single called Troubles. It's
filled with emotion. You, man. Good job by you doing God's work right now. I love that.
Man. Like, she did a great job. The sound check was great, and D's out here throwing shots from the Chris Brown and Usher concert. Oh, no comment.
Chris Brown and shots. Are we really going to make that?
Yeah, let's not use that word. Let's not use that word. Okay, come on, easy.
Also, I just want to point out Cam asking how the pod's going to look in Winnipeg. Maybe we have a little Target Score lounge in the South Pole, boys. That's all I'm saying. Zwike would be behind that. They're all about lounge and athletic lounge. We'll have a little Zwike area.
Is that bus or buggy or whatever you guys have out there in Winnipeg still in the stadium?
The Tundra buggy. So
can we do a podcast from in there
before you go? We 100% we could. We can make that happen.
That might be enough to convince me to come if that's the case.
Dude, the Tundra buggy's sick. That's what they used to see, like the polar bear tours in Churchill, Manitoba, which is the polar bear capital of the world. But the South Pole, it's the area, like the party area, like under where Chad Posthumous's retired number hangs, the banner. That's the party area. I'm telling you guys in the comments, you got to sell these guys on coming to Winnipeg. They're on the fence for some reason. They've never been to a Seabears game. A championship is going to be awarded potentially to their team that they've covered. They've put their hard work, their sweat, their blood, their tears, their emotions, their marriages were on the line because
raise
of this.
That trophy.
I'm not even married.
We're not there.
Your future wives are going to be upset. You know, like all the work.
I'm married to the game, bro. Yeah. I'm married to the CEBL.
Yeah, Matt, you might miss out on the opportunity to miss your future miss there. Like you really. I'm in a
solid relationship with the Canadian League Basketball League, man. That's the only thing I'm focused on, making it happy, worrying about it. But my new favorite bit now is letting Joey sit on the edge of the fence as to whether or not we're coming or not to Winnipeg.
Dude. I'm telling you, you guys, the Target Score Lounge, you know, we set ourselves up real nicely. You know, Dylan saying, guys, Winnipeg venue compared to Brampton is truly night and day. The hospitality, Cam saying it's so fun. We can hang out. I'm so close to the South Pole. He's in section 109. Right? Like, look at this.
Yo, Joey, how quickly could you turn a live podcast? Like if we popped up at Mondays and just still a live pod?
Immediately. We can go live.
Popped up where?
With an audience. With an audience.
Monday's Cafe. We can listen. If you guys are doing, like, I will put the work in to have a live show. We've got options. We could do it at Finn McCool's. We could do it at Mondays. We could do a morning show at Mondays. We could do an evening show at Finn McCool's. Have the Target Score people come out. They can come meet us because we know we have a large contingent of Target scorers in Winnipeg. They can come out, really enjoy us, have a beverage, have a nice coffee. $2 large coffees, a phenomenal coffee with great people. That's all I'm saying. Great deals at Finn McCool's. We can give out. We have gift certificates to give out. You can give out those gift certificates. Only
that's amazing.
That's a top tier comment. That's a top.
John McTavish coming in the clutch.
In the
boy, John. Attaboy.
roster.
Guys, look at man. People are telling you got to come out. If we come out,
Bonomi,
we'll make
we
these
might have
lives
to have a
happen.
serious sidebar tonight.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys
talk.
have to have
We'll
the
talk.
sidebar. I'm
We'll
sure, man, we can come out. We'll figure out a way to make it cost effective for you guys. Like, come on out. Let's do it. Let's make this a
Hold
real.
Dental,
We'll get
I'm
Wiggy
due for
out
a
here. Let's
crown.
get
If you can
Wiggins
hook me
out.
up. I was gonna say, hold Dental. I'm due for a crown and take care of some cavities for
Dude,
me. Maybe I'll
Oh,
come
Dr.
down.
John Holt has you, buddy. This
Dude,
is
I want
like-
Dr.
look at
John.
these-
I
look
said
at these
I
beauties.
offered yesterday to have my tooth pulled out on live stream if Dr. Holt wants to put it back in for the sake of the CEBL.
Dr.
I'll have
Holt.
all-
I'll
I'll
talk
have
to
wisdom
Dr.
teeth.
Holt.
Wisdom teeth put back in and then pulled back out.
Okay, guys, for real, I got to bounce, but no, you've listen, you've really stirred you stirred something in my drink. I'm certainly thinking about it. So
Oh
can you
wait,
even
D, don't
cover
go
the lead
anywhere.
without being anywhere?
Don't go anywhere. Right here,
I
right
know what
here.
you're bringing up.
Yes, Cubes, make it happen.
Oh wait, and most importantly,
Do not.
Poor Chris. He's getting
Holy
catching
moly.
straight.
Catching strays at 10
We
a.m.
got
in
to
the
put the
morning on the East
JK
Coast
though,
here.
just so because I know
Oh,
Wiggins
man.
gonna watch this and he's like heartbroken. There's a JK. We love
Wiggins
you.
is stirring his coffee right now. It's 7:07 a.m. on the West Coast, and he's getting shots. He's getting pain.
We
in his
love you,
chest right
Chris.
now.
We
It's
love
like
you,
love
getting
man.
voodooed by a.
Okay, you get out of here, D. It was fun having you here.
Okay.
We'll see you in Winnipeg, buddy. Live
we'll
shows
talk.
is gonna happen.
D will talk.
Adios,
We'll talk.
ciao, fellas. Love you.
All right, now the real show starts.
Man, I got some Serta comments I want to tell you about. I got about
Give her.
30 minutes or so here. So to move away from kind of the disaster that was yesterday, I think one of the things that was very encouraging to me, at least, was talking to head coach Alex Serta after the game, Brampton bench boss there, and it was interesting because this team, like he had said to us again, he had highlighted the fact that the team started 7-1, then they lost 5 in a row. They went like 1-7 or whatever it was. They won 5 in a row, lost 5 in a row. The season had been so up and down. And he said when they went for that meeting to talk about, like when they all rushed upstairs into the suite or wherever they went to talk about the possibility of what may happen in terms of playing this series and if it's going to be a game, if it's going to be 2 games, where it's going to be played. He said they were all in favor of 1 game. And he said, like, man, the way the season has gone for us, the way the season has gone for the CEBL, it just seems fitting that we play 1 game. And it's like do or die. Our guys are ready. We just want to hoop. He goes, from a team perspective, we feel really loose. We feel ready. This is the most prepared we felt. Like, although it's really crappy what happened in that arena yesterday, it doesn't really affect how the team feels. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and the same for the Sea Bears. I talked to a few Sea Bears, and they're like, "Hey, like it's weird, but like we're just gonna go back to Saturday like we were gonna do anyway."
Yeah, that's the best part. Like, the basketball is not affected by any of this, which
and
is
both
good.
teams could really just like act like they both won that game, like that. Like
Yeah,
the mentality is
100%.
like, "Hey, we have a chance to close in game 2," as one team would have had that anyway. So yeah, 100%. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
tell you.
No. And we said that yesterday, and I said that to Serta. I'm like, it's kind of like you won the first game, and he was kind of like, I guess in a weird way that's how it works. But yeah, he's basically said, like, the way the season's gone, it's fitting that the game that the game comes down, or the finals comes down to or the final now comes down to a single game. But one of the things that really made me smile yesterday was when he was talking about the team's willingness to play. Like, Trenton Flowers got injured. There was rumor that he might not come back and he might be done for the year to rest for his upcoming season overseas, but he wanted to come back. I mean, Sean East had opportunity, I'm sure, to leave, wanted to be there. Like, these guys said yesterday, Serta said that if this season went a week longer, if they extended this, all of these guys would still wait to come and play because they want to win. Like, they want to close this thing out and they know what it means. And he said, Tyrese Hunter said to the team, like, we'll play at the condo. Like, we'll play where we stay in Mississauga, in the half-court gym in our condo if we need to. Like, we'll play in the prison yard. We'll play in the parking lot. We'll play with no shoes on. We'll play anywhere because we just want to play this game, and we just want to size ourselves up against Winnipeg and see how it goes and give the fans the deserving product that or the product that they deserve. And the last thing that he said to me too that I thought was really interesting too, and we saw it for the first minute and 46 seconds yesterday. Mm-hmm. Sean East had 6 points. Serta said to me yesterday, guys want to be here. You're going to see a different version of Sean East. He goes, he's got that look in his eye. Like, this is the most competitive and the best I've seen him play, where like you send him to Winnipeg where he had that 38-point outing. I mean, I don't think that 38 points will happen again, not because he's not capable, but because I think there's going to be a better game plan defensively for him. But yesterday, 6 points in the first minute and 46 seconds, you're on track to have a pretty darn good outing. So that just excites me. Like, we get to see 120 minutes. I mean, we could have seen 120 minutes of Xavier Moon and Sean East going back to going face to face and lining up on the offensive end, the defensive end, whatever it may be. But that just makes it even more entertaining now, because this 40 minutes now has the weight of 120 minutes on it. Yeah. And it all comes down to these 40 ticks and how they're going to play. And you bet your bottom dollar both those guys will probably play the entire game. But it's just nice to know that the drive is still there for the players. The product on the court is still the product on the court that we've been seeing throughout the season. And it doesn't affect how the performance will play out here for both these teams. So thank goodness that they didn't get hurt, number one. And number two, nothing kind of goes against them in the performance category.
Still the best of the best that they have. Like, we didn't have another injury or something. Like, they're still good to go. I just want to shout out A Hoops Journey, one of my favorite podcasts. If you don't follow it and you're a basketball fan, this is where you get to know some of the biggest names and most influential and impactful people in Canadian basketball. They just commented that they missed the most alive, and asking about our thoughts and if there were any other options last night. Oh, man. We cannot get back into it. Please watch the start of this podcast when it's all done. We've shared our thoughts, and really appreciate you coming on, getting in the comments, man. Looking forward to connecting with you and getting a show off in some way, shape, or form. But I have the sticker on my laptop. I love A Hoops Journey and the work that he's doing out there. So we'll connect on that. Also want to shout out Eli Silverstone, who was an MVP for target score yesterday. We weren't able to get him on the show. Eli, I know you're watching, man. Thank you for everything. If you guys were following our socials last night, that was Eli, man. Phenomenal photographer. Great at getting the content out there. Got some great pictures. He's still sending some stuff today, and we're hoping to get him involved. He's out of Scarborough, and I don't want to spill all the tea here, but maybe we should keep an eye on expansion for the Target Score Network here. It was just great to work with Eli through all that. So man, this is sorry we couldn't get to all of it. Love everybody in the comments here, but to Serta's point, to go back on track, and we will wrap up here soon, because I can smell the waffles inside of my in-laws that I've really got. And I got a flight to catch this afternoon. I should probably pack and get ready for that. But it's the same thing on the CBears though. Like they don't want this to happen. This is a thing that was confusing to absolutely everyone, us included. We did not know what was going on until we started hearing the rumblings and talking to staff. And there's a point too where you can't inform everybody, because you're trying to figure out what the course of action is, right? But these guys want to play, and at the end of the day, like you said, they might not be thinking they have a win, but the situation is for both teams like they had just won game one, and game two is always scheduled to be at Saturday at 2:30. So Chris, I hope you're watching, because you caught some strays, guy. But he's like, it's so at the Chris Breezy show. No, he's but he had to leave because he wants to go watch the replay of his show. He's always in Chris Brown, Chris Brownland and Ursher. But no, these are guys that want to play too. Mike Rainbow said as much. Like, these guys want to go out, they want to play, and they want to decide this. At the end of the day, they don't, like you say, they don't care if it's a 3-game series, a best of 7, or a 1-game playoff. Like, every game matters, and at the end of the day, that championship goes a long way. And John Ross put it great yesterday. If you didn't catch the pregame show, probably worth a listen to at least the first little bit, where the assistant general manager of the Honey Badgers came on to talk about it. And he said, you have a great record in the regular season. That's all it is. And it's forgotten by next year. Like, no one talks about Vancouver's 19 wins anymore, right? Especially now that it's been eclipsed by Scarborough. But next year and the year after that, like, no one's going to be talking about, like, remember that Scarborough year where they had 20 wins? No, it's the championship. And the championship bonds these teams forever, right? You have the reunions. You have the 10-year, the 15-year, the 20-year, the 25-year, like, where they reunite, whether it's on the court or just themselves, right? And they talk about the memories of these seasons. They're so close to it. And on Saturday, one of those teams are going to get that. And the other thing too is, well, it'll be the first one in Brampton. Again, who knows the future of the Honey Badgers in Brampton, but there will be that era of, we won the championship in that city. If it's Winnipeg, it'll be the first ever. If this team wins a championship in Winnipeg, they will be in Winnipeg lore and be household names for a long, long time in that city. I was going to say this city, but I'm not in it right now. But if they win that championship at home, I mean, we're going to be talking about this forever. Listen, the Bombers are in a down year in the CFL, and you Winnipeggers love the Bombers. I know you guys cheer for the Bombers and are following along. It's not the best start of the season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The whole story right now is the Winnipeg CEBLs. If they pull that off, the Xavier Moons, the Teddy Allens, they will not be forgotten long after they come out of here. So yeah, this is however this shakes out and who wins, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a celebratory day for those. The league can take a little deep breath that it's finally over and the trophy was awarded. Hopefully it comes in one piece. At this point, anything could happen. Like you said yesterday, the trophy was just kind of hanging out there until
Man, don't get me going on
walk
that.
away with it. But
do not get me going on that.
But let's just hope from here on in everything is smooth and we have a seamless presentation on Saturday of the trophy to the deserving winner. Both these teams are deserving. I feel bad for the fans. A lot of first time. My mother-in-law was at the game, her first ever basketball game. She got to see 1 minute and 46 seconds of professional basketball. It's I feel bad for the fans. I'm glad we were there. I know people are like, oh, I'm sorry. You came all the way from Winnipeg. I'm like, listen, I think I'd be more distraught if I wasn't here after this happened, as much as I want the game to be played. This is going to be a moment in the CEBL we're going to talk about forever. And as I said yesterday, when the book is written, this is going to be a very interesting chapter on the 2026 season. But I think these are the types of moments that force turnarounds and can launch, a league into a better stratosphere. But it's these stories that we build on that is what builds the character of the league, that we're all going to look back at and laugh at and kind of look back at fondly, like, what a time. It's just tough in the moment to see it that way, but this is what will happen. Breaking news for you. Hold on. I got something for this. Where is it?
Nice. Hey, thanks. Breaking news. Zach Collaros cleared to play tomorrow against the Ottawa Red Blacks. There's your Winnipeg breaking news.
Hold on.
You got a banner for that?
No, but do we have like a fun? I should have. That's not a great breaking news sound, but
breaking news: Zach Collaros cleared to play against the Ottawa Red Blacks tomorrow night in Winnipeg. For all the folks that want Winnipeg breaking news. We're breaking news from the GTA on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, folks. Don't call it just a Ontario podcast.
It didn't work.
You got to pay for more than 2 plays in an hour. There you go.
All right, and that has been the short-lived CFL portion of the Target Score podcast. All right, Matt, thanks a lot for taking the time here today and breaking it all down. Thanks to D as well. Hey, Derek's pumped. He got a little extra from the Target. This is what we're here. We're here to serve the fans. All right, we got you. This is why we're here. But yes, hey, fun time being out here in Brampton. Programming will resume tomorrow. Cousin Tay will be back on the podcast. We will have him tomorrow, probably on an early morning because, tomorrow he's got the Blue Bombers that play tomorrow night. So, hey, and if D and Bonomi get here quick enough, we can get them to a Bombers game and they get to double dip in Winnipeg sports, which I don't need to sell.
I will say the thing that was very intriguing was the live show aspect. That was.
I'll get it done. We will.
That's very intriguing. That is. That is very intriguing.
We could do a live show from one of those areas, get it set up real quick, and maybe do a little post-game Sunday morning at one of these at Mondays, chop it all up with coffee, and people can come in, drop by, say hi. Let's see, right? As John says, see y'all Saturday, right?
Right. All right.
Don't let the people down.
All right.
But no, this has been fun. We will be picking up programming in Winnipeg again, and hopefully we have Bonomi and D following the being loyal to the team that they cover and following along for what will be a historic moment and meet all of our great fans in Winnipeg. So we will make it happen. But any final thoughts, Matt Bonomi?
If Wiggins makes the trip to Winnipeg, I'm there 150%. That's all I got to say.
Oh, Wiggy.
I know he's in here.
I know
he's still stirring that coffee. He's still in here.
I don't know if how much. I think that it might be a little bit more expensive to come from Vancouver. I'm not positive, but when I checked, it was wild. So maybe Mark Cuban can fly Wiggins too. Oh man. Anyway, again, thanks to our sponsors, Holt Dental, 1176 Taylor Avenue. Dr. John Holt and his staff are great. The Zwieke campus, if you haven't been, it's beautiful. I was wearing my beautiful and very comfy Zwieke shirt yesterday, the polo shirt. They are the epitome of athletic leisure. Their campus is awesome. 65 Trotter Bay. If you haven't been, they've got the basketball courts in the back, and they've got the little party area. They had a viewing party yesterday. I hope they play basketball. We should probably get Ogo on here at one point, the owner, and see what happened after the game was postponed, and if they just made their their own simulation live and in person. Also, Monday's Cafe, corner of Broadway and Donald in Winnipeg. Great coffee, great people. $2 large all day, every day. And Finn McCool's, who we will be giving out some gift certificates here as we get back to Winnipeg. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some fun ways to give that away. And unfortunately, their teal party was short-lived because of the game, but appreciate Jay and his staff over at Finn McCool's as well. Thank you all for making this possible today, yesterday, and throughout the rest of the week. All right, let's call it oh, go ahead, Matthew.
Holt, get those pliers ready, baby. That's all I gotta
Doc,
say.
yeah, Doc.
That's all I gotta say.
Bonomi needs it, man. The dentistry out in Ontario, not what it is out here in Winnipeg. All right, guys, this has been awesome. Follow us at Target Score Podcast on YouTube, at Target Score Pod on Instagram. We will see you throughout the week. Have a good one.